a lot of it is still very present because it was a transformative moment in my life, making a decision around what kind of person do you want to be in the face of adversity. And so it started out the way that I had anticipated, leading up to the Olympic trials, which is there's our national championships. There's a few different processes to becoming selected for the Olympic team. And without getting too nuanced into how the selection process is done, it's mostly done by a committee. There's a selection committee, which I actually became part of the selection committee post-career. And I became the athlete representative for USA Gymnastics to help select the teams. So I know both ends of it, being an athlete that is in the selection process, also being a selector. So you have our national championships. That's part of the process, and that qualifies you to Olympic trials. Then there's 2 days of competition at Olympic trials. And then from there, the Olympic team is selected. Now, during the 2008 year, something unique happened in that Paul and Morgan Hamm, the two brothers who were probably some of the most influential male gymnasts probably ever, especially Paul having won the Olympic gold medal in 2004 and the all-around, the first one we've ever had, world champion in 2003 in Anaheim. I mean, every accolade you could possibly have, the two of them combined have had. They were on two Olympic games up to that point, 2000 as 17-year-olds and then, or 18-year-olds, and then 2004. And then they came back to make a run at 2008. And at our national championships, Paul was dominating. Like, he came back out of nowhere. He was nowhere in that quad. From 2005 to 2008, he didn't compete. Then he came back just in time to be able to make a run at the Olympics. And both of them looked very good. They were in good shape. And Paul put on a performance the first day of national championships that was otherworldly. Everyone else in the competition was scoring around a 90, if I remember correctly. And he scored like a 94. And a 4-point difference is like, something you can't even, it's Simone Biles versus her competitors. It really is just another level. But on the last event on parallel bars, he got injured. He broke his hand. And so he finished the competition, but he broke his hand. And so Paul had this injury leading into the next part of the process. So he didn't go to Olympic trials, but he got petitioned onto the Olympic squad, and he actually got petitioned onto the Olympic team. And they said that if we have, we were still a month and a half away from the Olympics, if he's healed, he needs to be on the team. But the rest of us, I competed at Olympic trials, and first day I fell on pommel horse, which was an event that I was supposed to contribute on. And I believe that, that was the reason why I was put as an alternate on the team instead of a competitive member. And I knew that was my error. Like, I fully accept that I could have done a better job, and I didn't. And it wasn't just that event. Like, pommel horse, I made a mistake during a national championship as well. And then the only time I hit at the level that I should have during those competitions was the second day of Olympic trials, and I won pommel horse that day. So I was capable, but I didn't show enough consistency. So me and two other athletes were named to the alternates of the team, and Morgan actually made the team as well. So 6 guys were named to the team and 3 alternates. And normally three alternates is a lot, but they knew that there was this injury that was kind of nebulous and they didn't know what was going to happen with Paul. So the next step was, normally that's it. Olympic trials, selection of the Olympic team is done. Now that team trains until you leave for the Olympics. We didn't do that. We went to Olympic training camp, which is part of the process normally, but it's more of a formality for the team to train together. And we went to Colorado Springs, where I was, and they made me and a couple of the other athletes compete again, 2 more full times, 2 more full competitions, judges, uniforms, everything. And I hit all my routines. At that point, it looked like Paul was not going to be able to compete. And in fact, right before we were going to leave for China, Paul pulled out. And they said, we're going to make a selection around one of the 3 alternates to go in. And the 3 alternates were myself, Sasha Artemev, and Raj Bhavsar. 2 other incredible competitors, very deserving of those spots. And people have asked me this before in the past, but people would say, do you think that they made the right decision? Do you think that you should have gone in instead? And it's not a point of arrogance or anything like that. But if you are an athlete that does not say yes to that, you shouldn't be in that situation in the first place. So whenever anyone asks me, did they make a mistake not selecting you to go in? I say, yeah, absolutely. I was the one that should have gone in Paul's spot. And again, it's not a point of arrogance. It's belief and a confidence. And I would have been able to contribute to that team's success. I was not selected to be the competing member. They gave that spot to Raj. So at that point, I was devastated. I remember being at the training center. I've never cried so much in my life. Some of it was just emotion in the moment, but also it was this culmination of like these ups and downs of like doing everything, training so hard, feeling like you did enough, not being selected, doing more at the training center. You know what I mean? It's like this constant up and down and toying with your emotions with at what at the time is the pinnacle of what you've been doing your whole life, you know, training for this one moment. So we go to China. Me and Sasha are the alternates at that point. And a day before the Olympic Games, Morgan gets hurt. And Morgan has to pull out of the Olympic Games the day before opening ceremony. And so that day, Sasha and I had to go into the Beijing Olympic Training Center, and we had to prove readiness around the two events where they wanted us to be able to contribute. We had to do a floor routine and we had to do a pommel horse routine. But pommel horse was the one where we really needed to show proficiency. And Sasha was reigning bronze medalist on pommel horse, probably one of the best pommel horse performers in the world, but he had an issue with consistency as well. And we both went and we both hit that pommel horse routine. Sasha's better than me on pommel horse. I'm still a contributor, somebody that I could be in that 3-up-3 count, the way if you watch the Olympics this past summer, the way that Netarasic hit that pommel horse routine, we had that same scenario. In fact, the exact same scenario that happened this past Olympics in Paris happened with us 16 years ago in Beijing. Exact. Finished on pommel horse, needing one pommel horse routine to hit. In the same way that pommel horse guy did it, Sasha ended up going out there and hitting the pommel horse routine for us. We won the bronze medal as a team in 2008 in the same way that the guys did this summer. But the night before, after hitting those routines, our delegates, our national team coordinator, our coaches came in and sat us in the Olympic Village and told us that Sasha was going to be going in instead of me. And that then became the moment where I broke down considerably. I went outside and I called my brother and I was just like, I need to vent to somebody, you know, just, I'm here, I'm ready. I thought I did everything I possibly could. They selected Sasha. The team's going to go forward. This is a moment. This is a moment in your life where you have a path to choose. And either you're going to make a big deal out of it and make it about you, or you're going to make it about the team. Like I said earlier, to me, the team meant everything to me. The team was what we were trying to achieve. I didn't really care about any individual medals. If we can make the team succeed, especially because nobody believed in our team. We had some really interesting things on the media side happen with that team. Without Paul, without Morgan, we were all new Olympians. No one had ever been on an Olympic team with that other group. And so nobody believed that we were able to achieve anything. So I wet my tears. I went back up into the Olympic Village, into that room, and I told them whatever they needed me to do over the next 2 weeks, I would do. You need me to get a water bottle. You need me to carry your bag. You need me to make sure. I was going to be the absolute pinnacle of a teammate and just show them that the team matters more than my individual emotions. And like I said, the team went on to put on what I think is one of the most impressive Olympic performances I'd ever seen. Every guy out there just put on rock star performances. And we came away with a bronze medal. And it was, like I said, a defining moment in my life, saying I was able to contribute in this way. In fact, there's a really cool little, I've definitely shared this before, but me and Sasha were very close because we shared that Olympic moment together in terms of all the selection processes. And he was a kid at the time. He was young. He was in his early 20s. And I was the old man on the team. I was 28 at the time. I was like barely able to walk, you know. And Sasha forgot his uniforms for the Olympics. He didn't bring them to China with him. And so it was like a very young kid moment of like, you didn't bring your uniforms. Like, how could you forget your uniforms? And we had been on other trips in the past and he had done similar things. So it was kind of almost like ready for this to happen. So the day of Olympic team finals, we always wear red in team finals, Team USA on the gymnastics side. And I had my jersey and I said, we were lucky enough, the same size. I gave him my jersey. And so Sasha wore my uniform out on the competition floor that day. won that bronze medal, put on that pommel horse routine with my uniform on. And as soon as he finishes, he points up to the crowd at me. And like, there was this connected bond that we're just like, we kind of did that together. And I'll always have that moment in my head of like him putting on that performance. Someone was like a big brother, like just proud of what he did, what the rest of the guys did. But something I'll absolutely never forget. My Olympic journey and moment did not play out the way that I had envisioned, but I still was able to contribute to the team in a very special and unique way.